book of Zechariah and Malachi. Let's do it. Now, as we have seen before in Haggai, now we know why Haggai is the way that he is. It's because his teammate was Zechariah, and Haggai was the rough, tussle and, rebuke, correct, exhort type of intensity, and Zechariah was more of the, I'm going to give you the clear instructions. But he also has a level of sternness to him, because he starts telling Israel, like, hey, I'm trying to help you. And he's having trouble sleeping because he's having these crazy dreams. And God is having to explain to him what he's trying to tell him. And all these dreams signify and represent different elements of what God is trying to do with his people. How he wants to rescue them, how he wants to redeem them, how he wants to reestablish himself with them. But Israel is going to reject him. They're going to reject the king that he sends. They're going to reject the shepherd that he sends. And all this symmetry and all these details. And what really matters most is that Israel is going to be redeemed and saved. Humanity, creation will be redeemed and saved. But before that can happen, the king that God sends in his place to do so is going to be rejected by his own people, by those that he would come to save. They would reject him and turn him away. And when they realize who he is, then they would turn back. It says that he would come on a donkey. Very specific. What we should walk away with from Zechariah, because it is such a topsy-turvy and hard to understand book, is as we walk in this learning and the reading of the scripture, we have to remember that God is always looking hundreds of steps ahead of us. And we're just one moment away, one step away from being able to capture not just the truth, but the fullness of what God is trying to do. And then we get to Malachi. Now, if we made it to Malachi, it's because you've made it all the way to the Old Testament. And what a journey it's been. What an amount of stories and collections that we've seen. And what have we learned? What have we experienced? What have we seen? What is God desiring above everything else from his people? Malachi makes it abundantly clear through these simple arguments that he's having with Israel. And Israel is like, you know what? You got a lot to say, God. You got a lot against us. Can you explain to us what it is you have against us? And Malachi lets him have it. He says, first of all, you guys are rebellious. You guys don't listen to nothing. You guys have turned away. You have fled righteousness. You have fled goodness. You guys are giving in to paganism. You are divorcing your wives to marry pagan women and endorsing their bad behaviors. He goes down the list, gives them what he needs to say, and then he says something specific, because he says the tithe. Now, anyone that's been in the gospel for a long time has heard this chapter many times over. The tithe, the offering, you guys are robbing the tithe. You're not giving to the church, blah, blah, blah. That's not what this chapter is talking about. And we've just read the whole Old Testament, so we know that the context really matters here. What is God trying to use to express to the people what they're missing? Is he really asking them for money? Is what's going to help them get right with God going to be them paying God money? No. It's going to be submitting, surrendering, being obedient. Even if you honored me in the tithe, if you honored me in just remembering me, that's what the tithe was. Remembering the covenant promise, remembering that God has blessed you and he has cared for you and taken you out of Egypt and redeemed you. If you had simply just remembered that, you'd be okay. That's not what Israel wants to do. That's not what Israel wants to hear. But it's okay. Malachi gives us an ending. He gives us a conclusion to this. And he says, hey, there's going to come a person that is going to speak fire. They're going to purify. They're going to make a way for healing and redemption and restoration to come. God is going to show up. And when he shows up, he's going to show up with love. He's going to show up with compassion. He's going to show up with redemption for humanity. And that's where the Old Testament comes to an end. Congratulations on making it this far. I'm proud of you guys. Keep up the good work, and let's get into the New Testament.